My dear brothers and sisters, I'm grateful for this opportunity that I have to speak with you this morning. I'm grateful for the Ellis family, for Cardin and Brittany for helping to facilitate this message. I wish I could be with you. I wish I could fellowship with you and worship with you on this beautiful Sabbath morning. I do pray that the Spirit will attend these words and bring some peace and comfort to you during these difficult times. I know that for many of us, this time brings challenges that we're unfamiliar with. There's anxieties and frustrations that are unprecedented, and many of us are facing financial hardships. But I do know that the Lord is with us. He has not forsaken us. He's aware of us and aware of our needs, and He wants to bless us. In the book of Alma, chapter 36, verse 3, Alma testifies the following to his son Helaman. He said, "I do know that whoever shall put their trust in God shall be supported in their trials and their troubles and their afflictions, and shall be lifted up at the last day." Although these challenges are very real, I know that we will be blessed and make it through them together. I've learned that the Lord hears our prayers. I've learned this through many experiences throughout my life, but I remember one in particular that I wanted to share with you. When I was 11 years old and in primary, I was especially excited and anxious to become a deacon and to join our local scout troop. Because my birthday was in January, this would allow me to be able to go on our Klondike camp. And actually, now that I think about it, going on a Klondike camp now sounds absolutely dreadful. But when I was 12 years old, it sounded magical. I'd heard fantastic stories from the older boys about digging and building and sleeping in snow caves and sledding down giant mountains and eating decadent desserts prepared by Bishop in Dutch ovens. But as the time came for me to express my interest in going on this camp, I hesitated and actually told my priesthood leaders that I wouldn't be able to go. And I did this because at that time in our family, we were going through some hardships. My mother was terribly ill, and my father was working 2 jobs. He had to pay for numerous hospital stays and doctor's visits and expensive medications. And I just simply couldn't burden him with one more thing because I knew that we didn't have the equipment that would be necessary for me to attend a camp, especially a Klondike camp. I honestly told nobody about the desire that I had to go on this camp. And one day I was sitting in my family room, and a knock came at the door. And I opened the door and found a young sister, our next door neighbor, who said, "Now that you're a deacon in the scouting program, I think that you might be able to benefit from some of the camping gear that we have in our garage." And at first, I turned her down and said, "No, I think I'm okay." But she insisted. She said, "That's silly. How could you know that you don't need what I have if you don't know what I have?" And so she encouraged me to come over to her house. And when I went into their garage, to my 12-year-old eyes, it looked as if I was standing in an REI. There's backpacks and sleeping bags and tents and everything you could imagine. I felt so comfortable with her that I even confessed that the one piece of equipment I did have was a sleeping bag, but I'd torn a giant hole in it on our trampoline that summer when I was sleeping outside. When she heard this, she insisted I bring the sleeping bag over. She stuffed it, mended it, and had it back to me within a couple of hours. Because of this good sister's actions, I felt comfortable going on that Klondike camp. And while I was there, I met amazing friends and created relationships that benefited me great during those troubling times in my young adult life. In the book of Helaman, we read, "Remember that it is upon the rock of our Redeemer, who is Christ, the Son of God, that you must build your foundation, that when the devil sends forth his mighty winds, yea, his shafts in the whirlwind, yea, when all his hail and his mighty storms shall beat upon you, it shall have no power over you to drag you down to the gulf of misery and endless woe, because of the rock upon which ye are built, which is a sure foundation, a foundation whereon if men build, they cannot fail." Brothers and sisters, I testify that there is a God in heaven. He does love us. He's aware of us. He's aware of our needs. He wants to bless us. He hears our prayers. I know that he hears the prayers of those who are sick and afflicted with pain and sorrow, and he longs to comfort them. I know that he stands ready to strengthen the feeble knees of those who labor and are heavy laden. I know he hears my prayers. He heard my prayer as a young boy who longed to find acceptance from his peers. And he'll hear your prayers. I so testify in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.